Hello, Chris Cantel here. In this video I'm going to be going over buying age domains and buying them the right way. If you buy age domains and based on PageRank, for example, alone, the likelihood is you're going to be buying a dud domain. There are criteria that you need to go through, and I'm going to be going through these and so that you can ensure that you buy a good domain that's going to give you some good ranking power. These domains are going to form your private blog network, and many sites having good age domains will make your sites powerful and give you the power to rank your sites. So let's go over these checks now. Now this document I've got open here is a PDF which shows the criteria for buying age domains. It's available for download in the members area. So once you've got this, you can click on this link here. This will take you to expireddomains.net. It'll actually take you to the GoDaddy closeout domains here, which is this link. What you need to do is set your filters. There's a show filter here. The reason I'm in the closeout domains, by the way, is this is really the best place to start. Unless you've got heaps of money and you don't care about the cost of the domain, then you can just go to the expired domains and find your domains that you want to have, but still go through this process that I'm showing you. The closeout domains will give you good value for sure. So click on show filter, and this opens up the expireddomains.net filter. In the PDF you'll see the filters that I'm looking at. Now I'm just going to set the filters, and I'll pause the video for a moment. So the filters are set and I'm going to go through them. We're looking at only those that have come available in the last 24 hours. We don't want any domains that have got fake PageRank, so we want to check the box there. No PageRanks that have a -1 next to it, so put a check in the box next to there. And we're looking at a minimum PageRank of PR1. Now, PageRank is not that important anymore for us to look at because it doesn't mean a great deal, because Google doesn't really update that information to the public often enough. For themselves, they update it every day or several times a day even maybe. But for the public, it could be 12 months before you get an update, so we don't really have this as a reliable source of information. But we put a PageRank as a suggestion, for one, because we want to see that at some stage Google had some interest in that domain. We've got minimum backlinks of 10. Now the 10 is not the actual number of backlinks that site's can have, it's just what expireddomains.net is showing. But we can look further into backlinks under Majestic SEO. And then we want to have the minimum age of the domain. So let's put 3 years as a minimum. So 3 years or more as a domain. So let's go over to the site now. And here you see the 24 hours, no fake page ranks, no -1 page ranks, minimum page rank of 1, and minimum backlinks. Now, if we apply the filter, we see that we've got the next page down here, so that means there's more. So there's a good number of domains available. If you don't have many domains to choose from, you can relax on some of these criteria. You can change minimum backlinks to 1 if you like, and you can change the minimum page rank to make that we're not going to search for that, for example. And then you'll find even more domains. But as a starting point, let's add PR1 as a minimum and 10 backlinks as a minimum. Now we're given a whole list of all of these different domains, and we can click on this PR to search by PageRank if we want to. Or you can search by any of these other here, either backlinks or age domain. If we go by PageRank, we can see Phoenix Happy Valley Hotel has a PageRank of 4. That's what expired domains is saying. And what we can do, if we wanted to check this, we can copy this and go to all of the various different sites that we're going to be using to see if it's a decent domain. Now, to save yourself a lot of time, the best thing to do is first of all find out if the domain's still available. The price band down here shows you what it's going to cost you. And if you click on this one, for example, this will go to GoDaddy, and if it's available, it'll say, but here we say, we're sorry, but the domain you're looking for is no longer available through auction. Someone's already bought it. So then we can go and have a look at the next one. So let's click on this next one and see what happens here. Same thing again. And we'll go on the third one. If we just go through those, then we'll eventually find one. Now we're on the fourth one. So this one's available, so we can just take a look at the criteria. So we've got Game Robot Unicorn Attack. Now the name of that domain is not ideal because it's clearly pointed to, it's a game, isn't it? You might not want that because of the name of the domain. You're not going to be able to apply that. If it's a baby clothes website that you're promoting, Game Robot Unicorn Attack, that doesn't fit with baby clothes. So you need to bear that in mind when you're buying your domain for your private blog network, because is that going to fit what you're going to promote? Because it can be a footprint if you have a bad sounding domain. Anyway, what I'm going to do is go through the process of finding domains. Now, first of all, I'm going to go through Phoenix Happy Valley Hotel. I know this is already sold, but it's got a page rank of 4, and I want to have a look at some factors. If I copy this and then I go into Google, first of all, I want to see that it's been indexed in Google. So if I do site, and then the domain, then I can see here that it's indexed in Google. That shows me the domain there. If it wasn't indexed in Google, you would get something like this. Your site did not match any documents. That's what you would see if it wasn't indexed in Google. Next thing we want to do is to make sure that it's not fake PageRank. So there, phoenixhappyvalleyhotel.com for good. So that means the PageRank is good there. Next thing we want to do is to check that it's got a domain authority that's suitable. So we're going to enter in Phoenix Valley, Happy Valley Hotel, and this is in moonsey.com. So if I go back to this sheet here, we've just checked that it's indexed in Google. We've just checked the PageRank is not fake, and a bulk PageRank checker, so you can click on these links. We're now looking in Moonsey for the domain authority. And the domain authority is a metric from Moz. It used to be SEO Moz. Moonsey is using their API. So we enter this in here. What we've got is a domain authority of 12. Now if you go onto this sheet, you can see here that what we're recommending is minimum domain authority 10, but recommended domain authority of 20. So really you should be looking at 20 or more for domain authority, but if everything else fits nicely, then you could go below 20, but make sure you don't go below 10. So we go back to this again. We got 12. This still qualifies because it hasn't gone below 10. Let's go and have a look to see why Google may have thought this was such a good domain to give it a page rank of 4. We'll go to Majestic SEO now. Going to enter in Phoenix Happy Valley Hotel. Now when we're in here, you've got two ways to look at things. You can either have just the domain, and if that gives you a number of returns here of backlinks, so over the last 90 days we've got 21 backlinks. That's what this top row is, 90 days. And below that we've got 128 backlinks. That's over the last 5 years. Now if you enter in www dot, and there we see slightly different information, you can check between the two. So I'll just go back a minute. So we got 21 and 127, or 21 and 128, hardly anything in it between the two. What we're going to do is see here though is a trust flow on the www one there, much higher. So this is the W's is a better domain than the non-W's. So when you're selecting your website to create as a private blog network, you should go for the www domain, okay, which you can set up in WordPress. If this was available, as we know it's not available, but anyway, so trust flow is good over 14 days. But what we would do is look over the last 5 years. So you would click on that, and here we see a trust flow of 13, which is not bad. Government backlinks, that's a good thing to check for, or .edu backlinks. And then finally, scrolling down, what we want to look at is this pie chart of anchor text. Now the most anchor text points to other anchor text, so that's generic things like click here, more information, that sort of thing, and you would expect that to be the most, and that's good. The next biggest one is 25% here, and this points to a domain, their domain, which is fine. That's that's quite natural. If this pointed to a key phrase like best hotel, for example, then you should be wary about that, because it could mean that that site or that domain may have been under penalty, and that's the reason it's come up for sale. So it's best to see if you can avoid that. It doesn't matter if you do buy one that's under penalty or has been under penalty. There's indication that it's not going to affect the performance of your blog network. But it's better to look and be sure that the site looks fine and they didn't do any bad practices. So this looks good as far as an anchor text balance goes. So it's unlikely that this site was under any penalty. So we'd be happy about that domain. Now there's just one more thing that we would want to check for, and that is the number of times the domain may have been dropped. So we go to Who is Domain Tools. From here you see there's must not have been dropped 2 or more times. So you could click on this and go to the site. And what we want to do is enter in our domain here. And if it's been dropped, it will say in this section here. If you can't see if it's been dropped, it means it hasn't been dropped. It'll only tell you if it's been dropped if it has. And if it has been dropped, it will say dropped once or dropped twice. If it says dropped twice, 3 times or more, then you don't buy it, because it's not a good indication. I won't go into what a domain dropped means in this. It just means that people didn't want it. Again, that's all you need to know. In the number of people that registered the domain, well, this one shows one person has owned this domain, so it's only been owned by one person. It doesn't matter how many people have owned the domain. That's not a factor we're filtering out, so don't worry about that. So it's only if it's been dropped. Let's move on to domain here, which was acceptable. So I'll just quickly go through this as one more example. I'm going to copy this. First of all, I'm going to make sure it's been indexed in Google. So there it is. That's the Game Robot Unicorn Attack. It's indexed in Google. And now I'm going to go for the fake page rank. Check for fake page rank. So there it says good. So that's okay. Now the domain check for domain authority. This has domain authority of 17. It's under our recommended, but it's above our minimum. So if everything else looks good, then we can buy it. Enter in our domain here. So we've got a lot of backlinks here. It says no links discovered in the last 90 days. So they didn't want the domain anymore. But look at these backlinks, 1,627. But the trust flow is 0 and citation is 0. So that's quite strange that would be like that. But anyway, we'll scroll down and have a look at the anchor text. And what we're looking at, the robot unicorn attack has a 14% anchor text going to that, and the reason why they don't want this domain may well be that the site went into penalty. It's a poor anchor text, but this may well be that it's gone into penalty and that's why they don't want it anymore. And then over to the domain tools, and we're going to just enter in the domain here and see if it's been dropped. It doesn't say it's been dropped, okay, it just says one registrar. If you wanted to, you could buy it. Personally, I wouldn't buy it because I wouldn't want to buy a site that's I was pretty confident that had a penalty. And if you see a key phrase, which is clearly an anchor text key phrase, that is above 10%, then that's quite an alarming thing to say that it may have gone into penalty. And you see there's a lot of these that say robot unicorn attack game, robot unicorn attack, robots unicorn attack, and there's other things. So there's a lot of, if you added up all of the percentages that said robots unicorn attack, it's pretty much certain that it will have been penalised. So I wouldn't select this because I wouldn't want to buy a domain that I was fairly confident was under penalty. You just go through your domains that way and you'll find domains that are fitting for you. So I hope that's helpful in helping you to find out how to buy aged domains the right way, and you should be able to pick up quite a few domains along the way to build your private blog network. And what you want to do is build as many private blogs as you can, as many mini sites as you can. Don't just go to buy 5, 6 or 7 or 10 mini sites. Buy as many as you can. Buy 20, buy 30, because the more you have, the more power you've got behind your whole network to get you ranking. And that's really the route you want to go, because once you've got a good private blog network, it's going to do really well for your site's ranking. Hope that's helpful. Thanks then. Bye bye.